My name is Emma and this is Story Central. Not sure if my 32 female boyfriend, 36 male, might be cheating on me or if it's a misunderstanding. Relevant backstory: my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 1 year. He has 3 children with another woman, and the 2 of them seem to have a decent relationship, which I have never questioned. She and the kids live in another state, and when he goes to visit, he stays with them and sleeps in the boys' room. I'm fine with this. I know she knows about me, and staying with them allows him the maximum time with his children, so I never talked about it or made any sort of issue of it. I have trusted him completely. Well, he has been staying with them over the holidays, and yesterday his ex posted a picture of the 2 of them smiling into the camera with a caption along the lines of celebrating X number of years and an additional family photo. He hasn't commented or liked this post. He's not much of a social media person and doesn't like his personal life aired online, so I doubt he's seen this yet. His communication with me hasn't changed in the slightest. The language in the post is not specific, but it is suggestive. But there's a chance that the post is geared more toward the 2 of them celebrating their friendship and their family. I don't know how it all works. Any other posts on her account tend to be more specific to the subject matter at hand. So either she has no idea how her post looks or she's being purposefully vague. I will see him the day after Christmas, and I'm trying to organize my thoughts about this. I want to speak to him about it, but I don't want to accuse him of anything. We've had a great relationship, and I will continue to trust him unless I give a solid reason not to. I want to give him the opportunity to explain. That being said, I feel gutted and fear the worst. I really don't know what I'm looking for here. I think I'm more trying to sort out what I'm feeling, and I don't have many people to talk about it with. This is the first relationship that I've been comfortable with and allowed myself to be vulnerable since I left my daughter's dad. And with this going on, I'm starting to feel like an idiot. Well, that's a short, quick setup. What do you guys think? Do you think the boyfriend is cheating on Opus with his ex or what? Well, as you would probably expect from one of my videos, I have some updates. 2 of them, so let's continue with the first one. So we talked about the posts. He seemed confused and said he hadn't seen the Facebook post. When I pointed out that he had liked it, he said he didn't remember doing it and asked what it said. I told him that the posts were highly suggestive, that the 2 of them were a couple. I said that I worked to be very supportive and respectful of her role in his life, but that the posts made it seem like she didn't show the same respect for my role in his life. He agreed and said that he must have liked it by accident, that he shouldn't have done that, and that he would talk to her. I asked him to let me know how it goes. All is fine because I'm confident he'll take care of it. That was 2 weeks ago, a couple of days after Christmas. His ex was driving his kids up to see him for New Year. He works out of town, and since I hadn't heard anything from him about talking to her and the post and comments were still up, I brought it up again. I sent a message letting him know that while I trust him to handle it, I was uncomfortable with her coming up there without having it resolved, and that at the very least I'd like to know when he would talk to her. So I get a series of short messages I have to drag out of him. But he says he talked to her, but he'd asked her to take them down. When I ask what she said, he says she just said okay. So I text him, so you said they weren't appropriate. And she just said okay. And he says essentially, so now what? I'd like them taken down because they're a blatant slap in the face to our relationship. And yet again, I'm leaving it in his hands to take care of. And he says he will. Well, while his kids are in town, he gets sick, so we don't have the opportunity to follow up or talk about anything. Once the kids leave and he's feeling a little better, we're texting and I bring it back up how I hate being left in the dark and that I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable with the lack of communication and transparency. I sent him a long text, spilling my guts about it. He opens it and suddenly just stops replying. He left that message on read for 2 hours before I asked him if he's falling back asleep. Turns out his kids caught what he had and he's driving out of state. That alone I'm fine with, but I told him he could at least have sent me a message to let me know, and his response was just that it was last minute. It's an 8-hour drive. He can't use Siri to send me a short message to let me know we'll finish the conversation later. I tell him that this is really important to me and I really want to talk about it soon. His reply, what's the issue exactly? And at that point, I tell him that I've said all I can possibly say through text message and that we need to talk on the phone. So now his kids have been sick for the last week. We haven't talked. He's super hard to get a hold of. And the 2 days he said he'd probably be able to call, he hasn't. I tell him I feel like I'm begging for his time. He tells me I'm being silly and that he has 3 sick kids and that it's been all-consuming. We're going on 2 weeks now that this has been hanging over us. I have a child. I'm not mad that he's taking care of his sick kids at all, but I'm really upset about our communication over the last couple of weeks. We need to talk about it, but I can't get a hold of him to talk about it. I haven't been sleeping well, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I keep trying to convince myself that it's all just bad timing with trying to resolve this and everyone being sick. But the ongoing lack of communication is really starting to make me wonder if there's something going on. I've been waiting around for him to talk to his ex about these posts that make them seem like a couple because I really need him to stand up for our relationship a little here. But I'm getting nothing from him at this point. I really want to message her directly and talk to her about it, but I'm so deep into it, I don't know if it's a good idea. Am I out of line? I texted him today. The kids are getting better. He's looking for a place to stay in the next state he's working in. He's been posting articles on Facebook, so I know he has some free time. I've been trying to keep myself busy, but this is really, really important to me, and it's hurting my feelings that he seems to be ignoring me. How long is appropriate to wait for things to level out before I sort of put my foot down about having this conversation? Since he's not talking to me about it, is it worth going right to his ex to talk about the actual post? Update: I posted a short update comment below. I'm reading everyone's replies. I'm just overwhelmed and feeling like a dope. I'm also hanging out with my kiddo all day, so she's the priority. But I will reply as I can, and I will post a proper update when this is all resolved. Thanks, everyone, for taking the time and energy to give your opinion and experiences. So what do you guys think before we go on to the final update? Why do you think Opus feels like a right dope? All right, and now let's continue with the final update. Hey, everyone, I've been going through all the replies and will reply as appropriate, but I'm hanging out with my kiddo today, so I'll be sporadic. But while I'm making breakfast, I'll give a super brief general reply to everyone. I'm not an idiot. I have a lot of trust issues, and I wasn't willing to throw away a year-long relationship based on one situation that might have had an innocent explanation. I see now that that was a big might. Regardless of the fidelity, everyone here is right. He's treating me with disrespect, and there's no reason he should be leaving me hanging for weeks. I can't ghost him. I have some of his stuff, and I don't want to deal with any legal repercussions for not getting it back to him. However, when I woke up this morning after reading through all of these replies, I did pack it all up. This isn't the first time he's disregarded my feelings about something important to me. And no, I don't think I deserve that. I haven't met her or his kids yet. I actually don't follow her on social media. Her profile popped up, and out of sheer curiosity, I clicked on it. I will contact his ex politely and respectfully. If nothing is going on, she won't care. If they are together, then she deserves to know. I would absolutely want someone to tell me. I had a lot of issues with projection over the summer, and although I've been working hard to overcome that, I can feel myself backsliding with this. I'm jumping to conclusions with very limited information. I talked to him about it Friday, saying pretty much what you said, that her posts and lack of moderation in the comments, people saying they are a nice couple, etc., and her letting it slide show that she has no appreciation for my role in his life. Really quick, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like. He agreed and said he talked to her. I reminded him yesterday and told him to tell me how it goes. But as of now, the posts are still up and he hasn't given me an update. I want to give him the chance to handle it the way he sees best, but if I'm being honest, I'm obsessing over it. That was the first part of the comments final update, and just a few hours later, this second part comes up. Pretty much ghosting him. Not that he's going to care. I accepted I was never going to get the answers I needed for him, so I bowed out. I changed the locks and my phone number. The only thing I have left to do is figure out what to do with this stuff. It's not particularly valuable, mostly work boots and clothes and an inexpensive television. It's not quite a car full, but still too much actual stuff to mail anywhere. Tomorrow I'm going to call around and see if there's a place in town that will let me open a storage unit in someone else's name, hoping to drop his crap and let them contact him. He's got a buddy in town that I could drop it up with, but I'd rather not get anyone else involved if I don't have to. Regardless, it's just stuff, and if I have to cram it in the basement closet for a while so I don't have to look at it, I will. I reached out to his kid's mom. They were together pretty much the whole time we were. She thought I was a friend from work. We haven't talked much. She's pretty shocked, although she said she had a feeling something was going on and is thankful I contacted her. She is taking some time to process things, and I just told her I'm here for her whenever she's ready. He's still at her house this week. I don't know what her plans are in all this, but I don't want to say anything that would suggest that we've spoken. Just don't want to make this unnecessarily harder for her at this point. Hearing from her that they've been together was all the validation I really needed. I don't know what confronting him would have done, because I think he would have just continued to deny it and chalked it up to me being crazy, and I'd have to throw her under the bus, so to speak, to prove to him that I knew what was going on. That's about it for now. Once things settle, I might do a proper update post. Right now, I'm in this strange mix of feeling simultaneously sad and relieved, and I still have my own processing to do in the event that this is it. Thanks to everyone who took the time to get involved. I wasn't ready to really deal with this in my first post, but I was in the second. Sincerely couldn't have done this without everyone here. And there you go. The boyfriend was actually still married, so he was just a crappy, lying scumbucket that decided to have an extra thing outside of marriage. What a jerk. It's a good thing that Opus had the courage to talk to the wife and expose him for what he was, a lying sack of crap. And now Opus has to focus on working on her trust issues and finding somebody, if she wants, that actually respects her. What do you guys think? All right, and on that note, we move on to the next story. Has anybody ever broken up with you based on false information? Well, that's what happened to our next Opus. So let's continue with that story. I, 29, female who dumped me, 26, male because she thought I cheated, now wants to get back in touch. So right from the start, she's not entirely at fault here. When I was younger, 19, I cheated in one of my relationships. The circumstances don't matter. It could have been handled differently. I cheated, and that's that. Fast forward. When I was 23, I met Alice. Alice was an absolute blast. I never really connected to another person like I did with her. We got serious from the second time we saw each other and started dating exclusively straight away. Even though it had been a while since my one and only time of cheating, I still felt like that was something you should disclose to anyone you're getting serious with. I told her about it. She talked, wanted to know more in depth about the relationship. But ultimately it didn't matter for her because, in her words, I was a completely different person. Now, here's where the problem starts. Her friends were all nice to me in the beginning, but as the relationship kept going on, nearing the 1-year mark, they grew kind of standoffish with me. I didn't really feel welcome or like I was part of the group. If Alice and I went out with them somewhere, then all of a sudden that changed. They were all welcoming to me, really friendly, hanging out and physically affectionate. I'm not that way myself, but I like it when others are that way with me. It shows they care, I guess. One day, Alice's best friend Samantha asks me to hang out for a bit. Samantha was someone who was always friendly with me, even during the short period when the others weren't. At one point, I even helped her get through her ex cheating on her due to her knowing my past and wanting some different perspective on the matter. Anyway, I'm out with Samantha in the local park, just talking and waiting patiently for her to tell me what's wrong. Instead, she plans to kiss me, and it's pretty intense. She grabbed me by the face and just tried to shove her tongue in my mouth. I pushed her off. Almost instantly she starts saying she's sorry, that she didn't mean for this to happen, etc., and so on, and quickly excuses herself and leaves. Meanwhile, I'm completely at a loss about what happened and I don't call Alice straight away. I'm still kind of in shock. When I do end up calling Alice, I find out Samantha already called her and told her what happened. Except not really. According to Samantha, I'm the one who kissed her first and started making out before she put a stop to things. Cue a lot of drama, a lot of name-calling, a lot of begging on my part to be believed. But it didn't work. Alice and I were history. None of the people from her group of friends are even answering my calls or messages. I just wanted to know why this all happened. I don't get that. I don't get answers or closure. My girlfriend didn't believe me. She didn't even break up with me in person. It was over a phone call. So I sunk into a depression. No surprise, a couple of friends stuck by me, helped me through. But for more than 2 years now, I have avoided any chance to meet new people. Or if someone expressed an interest in me, I would ignore it. I got an email yesterday from Alice. It's still here, sitting on my screen. It starts off with a million apologies because she found out the truth about what really happened recently. The whole thing with Samantha was premeditated. The whole effing friend group was in on it. They didn't like that Alice and I were getting serious, that we were talking about moving in together. After being together for less than a year, Samantha decided to be the one to kiss me because apparently I seemingly clicked the best with her out of all of them. And the cheating thing would be most believable that way. The others backed up her stories about how close we were at the group meetups. Yeah, I know. It's so effed up. Alice has only found out about this a week ago from one of the people who had a falling out with the rest of the group. And on their way out, they wanted to blow up the whole thing with every dirty little secret they had. She tells me she hasn't dated anyone since we broke up. She didn't have the will to try again after our relationship. She just studied and worked and hung out with her friends after she found out the truth. She says she cried for days because she really did love me, even after the breakup, because a part of her couldn't believe it happened. The cheating. She's begging me to get together with her, even if only for just some closure. Just for one date where she can apologize in person. I haven't responded yet because I don't know what to say. For a year or more after the breakup, I effing dreamed of this happening. Her finding out the truth, us coming back together better than ever. But now there's nothing. My heart didn't skip a beat. I don't feel anxiety or anticipation of any sort that might happen due to meeting her. To put it short, I don't know what to do. Do I agree to her request about meeting up? And if so, do I end up giving us two a go again? I'm not sure if I could. I'm not sure if I feel anything anymore for her. My best friend says that might be me just preemptively protecting myself from the hurt, but I don't know. Well, Opus, it seems like life granted your wish. A little late, of course, but you know, that's life for you. What would you guys do in Opus's shoes? Would you meet with her to get some closure or to give it another go? Well, the good thing is we have an update, like you would suppose. So let's continue with that. Now, I decided to give my ex-girlfriend that one meetup for her sake. I honestly wasn't expecting to gain anything myself from this, but I still remembered how much I cared for her. So I figured I could do this one thing and we could both move on with our lives. Meeting her in person, though, that was a whole different thing. I don't know how to describe this feeling, but it was quite like anticipation, like when you're just expecting something to happen and don't know if it's good or bad. Now that I look back on it, I know I was hoping for good. We talked a great deal when we met and ended up staying out for hours. A great deal of it was hurt. Sincerely apologizing for not believing me and breaking up with me over the phone without giving me a chance. But in truth, I couldn't blame her and told her as much. Since these were all people she grew up with, she didn't really have a reason to not believe them since they never did this sort of thing before. This was followed by some crap talking of her former friends. That was kind of nice, and we ended up having a few laughs over it, even though I could tell she was sad by what happened. She's only got two friends now, an older woman from her workplace and a girl her age from a hobby workshop. They seem to be good for her from what she's saying, but she admits that occasionally she misses what she had with her previous friends, if not the people themselves. I really did end up feeling better from that one talk, and when the time came to go our separate ways, she asked me if I would be open to talking with her more in the future. Alice was upfront about her, hoping that there might still be something between us in the future, but she wasn't pushy about it anyway. Told her I wouldn't know, but also told her to just talk when she feels like it and I might or might not reply. Exchanged numbers and that was it for the day. Without dragging this out any further, we started dating again. Talking ended up bringing back how I used to feel about her, but I was holding back for a lot of the time and she was very patient with me. Never tried to push me too much, never tried to just pick up from where we ended. It's basically dating, like we've never dated with each other in some way. Not sure if I can describe it properly. English isn't my first language. I guess it's got that good part of where you're getting to know someone and actually enjoying doing so. A lot of talk about trust has been had just a few days back when, after a night out, she invited me to her place. I knew what this was about, obviously, but I wasn't 100% sure. I guess I was just being cautious on some level. Alice seemed to sense it and let me off with some words of how I might need some rest for work in the morning so she'd understand. I can't really tell you how that made me feel exactly, but it just shows me she cared. She cares, and I went up with her and it was something I really effing missed. It's not just two people together, it's her and me together. So, yeah, we're together, we're dating, and we're taking it a bit slowly, but I'm happy and she's happy and things are good. Well, that's fantastic, Opus. I'm happy you guys got your second wind. It's awesome that your girlfriend cut out those toxic girls from her life and now you and her can start building your relationship. Like you say, you don't have to go back from where you ended last, but you can start fresh using some of the knowledge you gained in the first part of the relationship.